So yesterday we talked about engaging our hearts when reading the Bible and not just our minds. Today, let's continue that frame of thought. So Casey shared that we would be wise to remember that when we are looking to encounter God in the Bible, that God is both our friend and our Father, and He desires to spend meaningful time with us. He genuinely likes you, regardless of how likable you feel sometimes. But I want to push that idea a bit further to remind us that not only does God like you, but He is also very likable. I think sometimes we inadvertently treat God like He's some kind of lovesick puppy, who just can't get enough of us. Now hear me when I say that God most certainly does love you, but how much thought or time do you put into getting to know God and loving Him? When you start to encounter Him in the Bible, you'll find that God is nothing short of extraordinary. He's literally like no one else you will ever meet. The depth of His wisdom, the expanse of His grace, even His sense of humor are so enjoyable to uncover. So as you read the Bible today, and hopefully the rest of this week, just ask yourself a simple question. What do I learn about God in this? But don't just learn it, respond to it. So for example, I was reading in the biography of Jesus' life written by Mark recently, and it was talking about the days preceding Jesus' death. And I read about Jesus telling His disciples that they would all desert Him. But then, in the very next sentence, He says, "But after I am raised from the dead, I will go ahead of you to Galilee and meet you there." In other words, even though He knew that they were going to desert Him, He wasn't going to desert them. He still intended to meet with them when He came back from the dead. And so from this, I was reminded that God's love it's just not conditional. He has such a greater capacity for forgiveness than I do. And you better believe that I walked away from that time in the Bible just in complete awe of God and with such a great desire to continue learning from Him and being changed by Him. In other words, I didn't just learn something about God, I drew closer to Him as a result of learning about Him. What might that look like for you to try today?